Hi everyone, in this tutorial we're going to be talking about the introduction to HTML, and HTML is just the abbreviation for hypertext markup language, which is the basic structure of any website that you see. So it's like the skeleton of any website that you see outside there, and it is written using a tag, so where we have opening tag and closing tag. And I'm going to be walking you through the major things you need to know about HTML in order to build any website, and it is the basic language you need to know irrespective of any programming language you want to learn, because this HTML is not really a programming language. It's a markup language that is understood by the browser in order to display a web page. It's just a document that the browser can read from. So in this tutorial, we're going to be using a code editor which is popular now, and that is the Visual Studio Code. And you can decide to use your own code editor of your choice, but if you want to follow through, it's advisable that you use Visual Studio Code. Now I want us to, before we start, I want us to, if you are using Visual Studio Code, just open the Visual Studio Code editor, and I want us to install just two plugins that we are going to be using for this tutorial. It's not as if you are going to be using, but it will be of great importance. It will be of great usefulness for us if we install it. So the first one is the prettier. So go to open your Visual Studio Code, it will bring you here. So go to this fourth icon, yeah, one, two, three, four, five, fifth icon. So that is labeled extensions. Just open it. When you open it, you will see it will give you the opportunity to search for any extension of your choice. We have, so the first one is you search for prettier. So prettier, so this is it. So you open it. I have it installed already, as I is showing disabled, so you will install it, and that's the first one. So the second one is the live server. So we are going to be using that too, and it will be very useful for us in this tutorial. So we are going to be using the live server. So open the live server too and install it. So having done that, you can now come to your desktop, and so that we can start working, can start learning HTML. So you can create a new folder on your desktop. You can call it anything. Let's say intro to HTML. So this folder that you have created, you can now open your Visual Studio Code and now drag and drop the created folder into the Visual Studio Code. Now back to the extension that we installed the other time. I want us to do something now. I want you to press Ctrl Shift P. If you are using Windows, and if you are on a Mac, you have to press Command Shift P. So here you search for settings. Let me see if I can. Yeah, so you search for settings. You see these preferences, open settings UI. You open it, and once you are here, you just search for formats, so that we'll be able to set up our prettier. Now search for formats. All this you are going to see in action when we start coding. Now search for formats. You see this editor default formatter. So normally, if you are just installing Prettier, it will not select this for you. So you need to open this drop down and select and search for where you have Prettier and select it. So once you select it, second thing you need to do is stroke to where you have format on save. Then make sure it is checked, so that anytime you save your code, it is going to format it for you, and it's going to put it in proper structure that even when you are reading through, you'll be able to relate with it. So we're going to see the second extension that we install in action very soon, but for now let us just create a folder. Or so I create this folder, maybe the introduction part. So in this folder I create a file which I'm going to be calling index.html, Now in any website that you see, when you go to the home page, or the default page is always index. The default page of any website you see is always index. So that means if you have several files in this your folder, and you host it, the default file that the website is going to be, the hosting service is going to be looking for is this index. So, and since you are working with HTML, the file extension is .html or .htm, but it is most common that we use .html. Now, I told you that HTML a is a markup language that we write using tags. So we have opening and closing tag, and any HTML file that you see, the opening tag is always HTML and the closing tag is HTML. So the what close every other tags is HTML. So you need to create a tag called HTML. So this is the opening tag and this is the closing tag, and that is the first thing you should write anytime you're writing HTML code. And in this HTML code, in this HTML tag, we have two other tags that is very important, and that is the head tag and the body tag. The head tag contains the information about the web page, while the body tag contains the web page itself. So most of the time, the head tag, the information you put in the head tag is not always visible to the user, while what is in the body tag is what the user will always see. So the head tag contains information about the web page, but most of the time not visible to the user. It is mostly used by the search engine and other like, and also used to embed styles into your HTML page. And so we have the head, we have the head. So this is the first, and we also have the body tag. So closing and opening tag. So in this head, we put information about the web page, like the meta tags, like the head, like the title. But for now, we are just going to be talking about the title. Title. So another thing you can do is, instead of you to, since you are using Visual Studio Code, you can just write the name of the tag and you press tab. So let me just press, yeah, you press tab. So it's going to create the opening and closing tag for you. So let me just call this first web page, and in this body tag we have, since it's a document, and the same way you can have heading, you can have paragraph, you can have full stop, you can bold, you can uh, you can increase fonts, you can decrease fonts in any document that you are working on. The same thing in HTML. We have different tags for doing all these different functionality. So let's say I want to write an heading text. So what I just going to do is I'm just going to have my H1, which is a tag that is used to write an heading. So I'll just call this first web page, and just like in any other document you are working on, you also have paragraph. So in HTML2 you can write paragraph, and the tag for doing that is p tag. So this p tag is used to write paragraph. So let me just say this is a paragraph. This is a paragraph. So now this is a basic HTML page or a basic HTML document. So now you save, wants to save, and you see the work of prettier in action. So let me just put this like this. Let me just make sure it is not well formatted. I put everything. So if I save, I want to see the functionality of prettier that we installed the other time, and I save. So you see that it's put everything in proper structure, so that I can see that this head is a child of HTML, and this body and head, they are in the same level, which means they are siblings. And so that is the work of prettier. So it help you format your code appropriately. So now that we have write our first HTML page or document, let us see it in action on our web page. So, and that's why we are going to be using that second extension that we install, and that is the live server. So you open, you right click, and you go to open with live server. If you have installed live server, you see this option, open with live server. So you click on it. It's going to bring up your web page for you automatically. So yeah, so I have my web page now. So let me just bring this here. Yeah, so you see that I have, so I have, oh sorry, let me reduce this a bit so that we can see the two on the screen. So so you see that I have the first web, which is the heading I put here, and the paragraph. This is on paragraph. So since we are opening with live server, let's just maybe I change this from web to websites. Once I save, I don't need to come here and reload. You can see that the change is reflecting in real time. So that is that for the introduction part of HTML.